On your comment there, absolutely. People hate it when you bring up the whole sort of 1930s Europe analogy. The reality is we are sometime in 1934 or 1935, one of the two.
That's right.
That's where we are right now. And I can prove that point with a few things that a lot of people don't realize. Once the restrictions were placed, and I need to be careful the words I use because I don't want to trigger the automatic censorship algorithms in Facebook and other platforms.
Oh, we got a thing for that.
Have you? Okay.
Works every time. Works every time.
Right. That's how we've stayed on almost 50 shows. You go.
Yeah,
I'll stay on the go.
Good on you. So if you chose to do business with people that you were not supposed to do business with, according to the German government at the time, what happened? You got a fine. Police knocked on your door and said, you've been a very naughty boy and we're giving you a fine. Does that sound familiar? Yes, it does.
Yep. Yes, it does.
Why were those people being restricted? What was the justification from the government? It was about public health. These people were disease spreaders. I'm not joking. That is exactly the narrative that was rolled out to get the people of Germany to comply with the rules and the restrictions on their neighbors, people they knew, people they'd potentially grown up alongside. It was because they were disease spreaders and they were dangerous. And if you interact with them, we will fine you. And if you keep doing it, we will punish you even worse.
And that's why
it could actually be completely self-righteous. The person who was in charge of Germany in the 30s and 40s believed that he was the good guy in all of that, believed that the future generations would thank him for purifying the gene pool and bringing us on another great step in human evolution. That he genuinely believed that. It is entirely possible. I've got a book here, not in here anymore, written by a Tasmanian professor, Professor Ainsley Kello. It's called Science and Public Policy, The Virtuous Corruption of Virtual Environmental Sciences. This book rocked my world. It'll cost you about $100 to buy it, and it's an academic type of thing, and it's to do with environmental sciences. But the lessons in this are incredible and applicable right across the board. And what he shows is how good people, intelligent people, will lie and will deceive deliberately for the right reasons. It's noble cause corruption. I'm making the world a better place. Therefore, it's okay that I'm lying. Therefore, it's okay that I'm fabricating evidence or fabricating results or doing these various things because I'm making the world a better place. And I think
for a noble cause. Noble cause.
It's for a noble cause. Noble cause corruption. And I think that has taken a massive hold on our political class.
Yep. I just got this thing coming up here. You won't be able to see it, but that was their problem. I just bring it up here now. This was their problem with the shrine. So here were these Aussies just looking like they're at the cricket with their flags, and here were all these stormtroopers, and they stopped because they couldn't figure out how can we be the good guys in this. These guys have no weapons. They're not doing anything bad. They're just sitting there demanding freedom. They're singing the national anthem, and we're sitting here with pepper spray. And how do we market this? I think that's why the siege wasn't, they could have got us at any time. The siege was how do they finally make out that the good guys, finally they gave in. And that's why when they did, so Damien and I were arrested on the steps. When they finally came in, they were bounding on us because they were so angry at us simply because they couldn't make it work. And so they—
Why did you make me do this?
Why did you stop making me do this? They were saying as they were jumping on our heads. Stop making us do this.
Which is the classic abuser's line. That is the classic abuser's excuse. If you hadn't made me angry, I wouldn't have to do this to you.
Yeah, that's right. And so that was the case with that day. And yet it's still, even when they've got Rukshan's image of the shooting, it happened on the other side of the shrine too, but there's no video of that. So they're shooting protesters in the back, and it's still out there. There's Australians who, instead of going, that's over the line, are going, why didn't you give them real bullets?
Yeah, 100%.
That's why we are where you said in 1934, 1935. That's where they're there, because there's a healthy part of the population who said, yeah, you should have just shot them all. Yeah. And that's terrifying.
And they still believe they're the good guys.
That's right. And that's really what makes it terrifying. Yeah. Yeah.
So
and that
honestly, vaccine passports are the mechanism with which they introduce a social credit score. We'll get a social credit score as a result of vaccine passport.
It looks that way. And I say that as someone, I pour water on every conspiracy theory by default, right? I need a lot to go, yep, I reckon that's actually happening. But it looks that way. I mean, literally, they are one piece of code away from turning that into a social credit system.
Yeah.
Yeah. And facial recognition stuff everywhere. So they're following. Yeah, that's where we are. That's the end of the show. Thank you for coming on, Topher. It's been great. I'm sorry the other guests didn't arrive, but